Bet you've built the perfect safe house. I mean, what's this even made of? Vibranium?
Fall collection. IKEA.
I have like 20 horrible jokes in my head that I'm not gonna say.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering. An interesting little narrative battle going on right now, as Marvel has now achieved, for the first time in their long and illustrious history, a certified rotten Marvel movie. At this point now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the critics, enough of them are in, that we can see a trend here, and that we have at first, our very first certified rotten film. Now, I believe, and as I've said, as this is like an impossible task. Even if I was a big fan of the Eternals, like imagine meeting all of the Avengers at once. And even that would have been a tough task. And the Avengers are just exceedingly more well-known than the Eternals are. So the idea that you want us to learn about and care about 10 new characters all at once is really probably why this film failed, more than any of the gender swapping and race swapping and orientation swapping and disability swapping that they did to try and save the movie. Interestingly enough, even some of the woke critics call it out, essentially confirming that getting woke can't save you from being a terrible movie. That scathing review after a quick word from this video sponsor, Keeps. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Keeps. Listen. 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of male pattern baldness by the time they're 35. And the best way to prevent hair loss is to do something about it while you still have it. Keeps offers you a great option to get treated from home. With Keeps, a licensed doctor will review your information online and recommend the right hair loss treatment plan for you. Then, your treatment is shipped directly to your door every 3 months. And with all hair loss, prevention is key. Keeps treatments can take between 4 and 6 months before you start seeing results, so it's important that you act fast. The sooner you start using Keeps, the more hair you'll be able to save. If you're ready to take action and prevent hair loss, go to keeps.com/thequartering or click the link in the description to receive 50% off your first order. That's keeps.com/thequartering. Hey, give it a try. The best time to start saving what you got is right now. Now, we've seen Eternals actor Kumail Nanjiani setting up tired Hollywood narrative in case Eternals flops at the box office. I really have no idea what this film is going to do at the box office. In general, when critics demolish a movie, I'm actually more inclined to see it than less inclined to see it. I don't know if you feel the same way, but certainly historically speaking, we can look at films like, Dave Chappelle's Stand Up or Venom or a wide variety of other films that were rotten by the critics' standards. I think the critics' low ratings are really only newsworthy because they're clearly pandering to overwhelmingly left-leaning critics. Eternals actor Kumail Nanjiani, who plays a race-swapped Kingo in the film, set up a tired Hollywood narrative blaming moviegoers in case the film tanks at the box office. Well, that's why he deleted it. Looks like we're upsetting the right people. Eternals opens November 5th. Now, I'm not sure I'll have much more to say about this movie until we see maybe weekend box office. I've thought about what these reviews mean. And you can see even Paul Tassi here writing, Marvel's Eternals slips to become the MCU's first ever rotten rated film. This is at 58. It's since dropped 57. The scores were trending downward, and I figured this would happen before the film was released. Eternals debuted in the bottom 3 of Marvel's Grand MCU movie catalog when early reviews came out, but as more come in, it's not only the MCU's worst reviewed movie, but it's also first to currently have a rotten score on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, I talked to a Rotten Tomatoes critic directly, and he actually thought, it looks like he was right now, that as more negative reviews came in, it would actually give other critics more confidence to review the movie fairly or negatively. Eternals is currently sitting at 58, it's actually 57, with 144 reviews in. It was hovering at 60 for close to a week. Here's how the star-studded MCU films stand. The bottom 10, Eternals, 58. Thor, Dark World, 66. It could actually be down to, it could be a full 10 points worse than Dark World. That's what's concerning. It could be a full 10 points less than Dark World or The Incredible Hulk. Iron Man 2 was not very good. Age of Ultron, take it or leave it. Black Widow actually at 79. I thought that was probably appropriate. It was a meh movie. Captain Marvel also meh. 79 is equivalent of meh. But what's interesting is with the normies read reviews more than like hardcore fans. So if you see, for example, they say, oh, this movie stinks, and they're going to wait and stay home. Now, the Eternals, you'll have an option to watch this movie on Disney Plus, which I think in the past, this is where I think Disney Plus may actually hurt it. So in the past, Marvel movies are always something you kind of want to see on the big screen, and you kind of want to like take it all in, right? When you see this review at 57%, you're going to just say, I'll watch it on Disney Plus. And having this review, it continues to go down. Having this review be this poor, as long as it stays rotten, you're unselling tickets. I would not be surprised. Mark my words. I'm going to make a bold prediction here. I'm recording this at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. I predict there may be, don't be surprised, I'm going to say, if there's a huge influx of positive reviews just to get it to 60. Just enough reviews to get it over the rotten remark. And this would be totally a common thing to happen, and I would not be surprised in the least bit. Because honestly, what'll happen is whoever's in charge of press for the Eternals already knows which critics are friendly to them. If you don't think that Disney keeps some sort of spreadsheet with all the critics that have, historically rated them well, or they're going to go to a bunch of new reviewers, a bunch of new people that really want that sweet access journalism. They're going to say, hey, the Quartering, how about an early screening of the Eternals? They wouldn't give that to me, but, if there was some, Marvel fan page or reaction channel, it's pretty safe to say them getting early access to the movie will probably mean they're going to review the movie favorably. You want to wish for the best, for people. You want to wish that people have integrity. But access journalism is one of those things where they want to get early access to the next movie, so they're going to be more inclined to give positive review to this movie. I don't think that that's that crazy of a thing to say. Eternals suffer from bland lead characters, and the villains are very lackluster. Here's what I thought was perhaps the most danging review. You see, Zhao is an undeniably gifted filmmaker, but Eternals did not make effective use of those gifts, and by the end, there's undeniable sense that she will become as tired of the whole thing she became as tired of the whole thing while making it as viewers will be watching it. Marvel's latest is a litany of cosmic, philosophical, and expositional verbiage clumsily expressed by a talented but uneven cast through their cryptic characters that try to pass it off as thematic and emotional depth. I want to find this review that came out last night that I thought was the most brutal. This is from the Houston Chronicle, okay? Carrie Darling. Eternals makes history as the most diverse superhero movie in terms of race, gender, orientation, age, and abilities. And that is remarkable. dot, dot, dot. But that doesn't change the fact that they're stuck in a story that's dull and predictable. Ooh, spicy. That's a tough shot. That's a hard hit, isn't it? And there's just nothing but negative coverage. Now, in terms of the box office, we see predictions. You know, one outlet says they're tanking. That doesn't mean anything. I would not be surprised if this movie still did $100 million this weekend. I would be, how would I say this? I would be less surprised if it did 100 million than I would be if it did 50 million. If it really did tank hard, I mean, really tank, that would be far more shocking than the movie overproducing. What's interesting about this is, you know, despite the lockdowns, comic book movies have found great success in the 2021 domestic box office. That's just not true. With Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Black Widow all ranking in monumental ticket sales during the debut weekends. Not really. However, no film has yet opened with a $100 million domestic, something that routinely happened before. Exactly my point. Venom 2 came in with 90 million. Venom fans pay to see Venom, regardless of how bad these movies end up. Can Eternals be the first post-lockdown era film to cross the $100 million thread? Well, I would be shocked, but not as shocked as if people abandoned it. Because after all, it's still a Marvel movie. It's different, so people will be like, let's see what this is all about. People know Chloe Zhao from Nomadland. She's award-winning. She has a following. And it has zero competition for the next 2 weeks. The next thing to come out will be Ghostbusters Afterlife, and that's 2 weeks from now. So Eternals is like literally the only thing in the cinema for the next 2 weeks. So could it do those kind of numbers? Yeah. But it sure would be interesting to see a Marvel movie that really tanked. Like, no spin, no zest, just tank. But again, when you have a movie that is this poorly reviewed by critics, maybe the audience will love it. I mean, if we look at Venom 2, right? Let There Be Carnage. It was only a 60%. So again, coincidentally, just over that mark, which is why I'm saying watch out. But the audience loved it and still made decent money. So maybe that'll happen for the Eternals. We'll have to wait and see. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out this video sponsor, Keeps. We'll talk to you again real soon.